with
So
that,
two
Jonathan?
things with Screven. You had the whole Overton and Smith, Brandon Overton, Garrett Smith, Smith winning, Overton running second Friday night, Overton winning, Smith running second Saturday night. So you had that, which was interesting. Apparently, nobody knows what Overton is in as far as chassis. There's some discussion there, some debate there. And then also the other interesting aspect, you had the GOAT, in my opinion. I don't know. People can argue about that. Scott Bloomquist on the call with Dwayne Keith there, the Southern All-Stars announcer. So to me, it made it quite interesting because there was some interesting racing, especially Friday night. Saturday night was interesting too. The track, it didn't provide for as well with great racing, but you never knew what Scott was going to say. So it kind of kept you. Not only did the racing keep you on the edge of your seat, you kind of were waiting to hear what Scott was going to say. That it kept you on the edge of your seat as well.
So what do y'all think about it? Let's get back to that. What do you think he's doing? Like he says in the interview the other day,
The
that he's
little experiment after. Okay, let's go back to the Dirt on Dirt interview from last week where he's talking about he's basically saying he's still got the same stuff. People making stuff up. And then, he did not help anything by, I think he's getting interviewed after winning Saturday night and says something about the little experiment is going to work out. Yeah. Do you just want people to talk about it? You know what I mean? And then the Fiedler Dirt Tracker, makes a compelling argument for something doesn't look right here. That's all I'll say. He made a compelling argument, and Overton, whatever he's got going on, he's not helping to quell the rumor mill. You know what I'm saying?
The speculation. And chatter.
Yeah. Am I wrong?
You hear a lot of things. Call him up. Jesse, you got his number. Call him. Ask him what he's got.
I mean,
tell him, can he build another one? We want one just like it.
Yeah.
We want number 2.
Joseph, did you look at have you seen the pictures, the comparison? Like, can you provide any insight? Like, are all Longhorns the same?
It's definitely a little different.
No, it's different.
But you buy a car, it's your car.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want this bar here, get rid of it. You want another one, put one there. Like it's there's no telling, I mean, there's no telling what
I know there were some similarities between Overton's car and Dale McDowell's. On the frame, the chassis up top. I'm telling you, it looks similar.
And let's not forget that Overton ran a Bloomquist something or another at the end of last year, a time or two.
All right.
It's not for us to say, but it is an interesting concept there, I suppose. Who knows? But time will tell, I guess. Or maybe we'll just never know what he's in.
No, I mean, yeah, time will tell, but someday we'll all know. You know what I mean?
Well, you'll know if he does something different or if, he's back into normal stuff. Like, we might not ever know what he's driving right now. Mm-hmm. If it's, something they're working on and it doesn't work out and they just stick with the Longhorn or what. So, but I agree with Jonathan. I don't think, as much as he in that Dirt on Dirt article kind of wanted to say, oh, there's nothing to it, people were just making stuff up. He didn't help, he didn't reinforce that by saying our experiment, there. So, we'll see.
It didn't necessarily look to me like it was just, man, that thing's fast.
If Garrett Smith doesn't step out and try to pass a lap guard, he gets outrun both, or he finishes second both nights.
Beat, yeah.
Kevin Herman, thanks for the super chat. He says, "Stir in the pot." Is that us or is that Overton you're talking about? Or I mean, it's good to have stuff to talk about.
We're reporting the news.
Yeah,
we're just.
It was on the news. It was on the news.
I think I wanted to, just before we called it a stream, dive into the Scott Bloomquist announcing at Screven.
Oh, I mentioned it already. I done told y'all.
We didn't do what?
I done told y'all it was eclectic.
Well, that's my question here. We Scott obviously is a lightning rod for attention. Where do we stand on Scott as the I guess he's not play by play, he's more the commentary, but as on a announcing team.
Man, we need Scott as a racer. He is not an announcer yet.
No,
he ain't there yet.
He ain't there yet.
Maybe
he's
he
got a few good years left in him.
Yeah, maybe he can finish out once he's like done racing, but he ain't done racing.
Well, okay. One thing you got to consider here. Have y'all seen what Tom Brady's getting paid to announce to call football for Fox next year.
Apparently more than what he made playing football.
I'm just like, if I'm Scott, I'm reaching out to all these various series and being like, hey,
I need an announcer.
yeah, basically. Yeah.
Get to the top.
Get to the top.
I will say, I thought, like, okay, so there was, I did not watch it live. I did not watch the full replay. So you're missing a little bit during the cautions, right? But going back and watching the highlights, I thought he did a pretty good, he could do really well at it, I don't know how coachable he is or how much he, if that kind of thing, but
he's got that I don't know. He's got the excitement factor.
Okay, so that's where. All right, so this is where Dwayne, the Southern All Stars announcer,
Dwayne's got plenty of that.
Yeah,
yes. But he also he was trying to bring Scott in. Scott is not he's not the play by play or the what's the word I'm looking for? He is an analyst. You know what I'm saying? Like he's there to analyze and offer insight in the driver's perspective. He's not they're calling the race. Right. That's where Dwayne kind of struggled a little bit trying to get Scott to call lap 2, sending them there and they go into turn 1 and he's wanting Scott to jump in there. And it's like, Scott's more of he's going to give you insight, like talking about, I mentioned it earlier. He talks about how 1 and 2 was the best chance for Garrett Smith leading Saturday night to move out and go around a lap car. And, 3 and 4 was your low percentage, corner to pass a lap car on the top. That's the kind of insight
he's there, kind of like Randy Weaver does at Eldora for Flo, right? He's there to provide perspective based on his expertise, not to call a race. That's an announcer's job, right? That's the announcer's job. He's there to provide commentary, right? On the action, not actually call the action. And it does take a little bit of a team working together to fit in calling the action, and then tee up Scott or whoever it is to provide some commentary based on what's happening on the track.
I feel like this was kind of a thrown together thing where Scott was there and they're like, why don't you come in the booth, Scott? You know what I mean? Any chance you go and get him as a what's the word you just used, Joshua?
Color commentary.
Yeah, for the Front Super Dirt Series. I don't know what he's got planned for this year. He's going to be doing some racing, but if he's got an off week, you're calling Scott up and being like, hey, we need to come step in here and offer a little insight here and there in the booth.
To Joseph's point, and that may be an option one day whenever he's done racing, or that may be sooner than later. I don't know. But to get back to Joseph's point, I know for at least now he's planning on racing this year. Of course, we saw the schedule they put out at PRI, and there was some, is he really going to race? Is it going to happen? I know spoke with his team. I think it was last week, and they have a reserved pit spot for Talladega, and they're they're still their schedule for the year and what their actual plans for the year is still open. Potential to run, not just be there to announce, but actually run the front series. So stay tuned for that. Definitely, they're planning on being at Talladega, I was told, and could see him some more behind the wheel with our series and obviously other events as well this year. So don't get too used to Scott Bloomquist on the mic just yet.